here we are. How to paint a 3D printed Warhammer dagger. We're on part 2. So yeah, it's over there on the table. If you take a look at that, boom, there it is in all its glory. Steve here, the retired hobby tech guy, American expat living here in Korea. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know that, sold everything in the United States, hook, line, sinker, everything in the kitchen junk drawer, and left with a couple of suitcases, traveled, ended up here in Korea, and now we're retired here. So with that being said, got to have something to do when you're retired. So besides going to the gym, I do 3D printing, miniature painting, painting up the dagger that we're going to be doing. So we're going to take a look at that and continue on with that. Some people have asked, where can you find the file for this? Because again, if you take a look at that fine-looking specimen of a pointer, it can be found for free, and so we're going to take a look at that. Specifically, if you go to Maker World, we can see Warhammer style dagger. Can't pronounce that person's name, but yeah, there it is. As a matter of fact, if you look in the description box, you'll find a link to this. And I guess, let's go ahead and we'll copy this. And we'll call it Warhammer style, if I can, dagger on Maker World. Free, and we'll put that into the comments, and boom, there it is. So that way, if anybody else is looking at this and saying, hey, that looks pretty cool, that's small compared to mine. Mine, what I ended up doing is kind of making it a little bit bigger. It's about 21.5 inches or so, and it is a beefy mamma jamma. So feel free to scale yours up as needed. Again, you can kind of see a difference there and between what I have. So but still, regardless, whatever size you print it, it's not important. It's just that you print it and have fun and how you use it, right? Size doesn't matter. At least that's the claim for some people. Size doesn't matter. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to jump over to the desk over there. So let's see, we got George is here. George, hey, welcome back. Good seeing you. Let's go ahead and we'll head on over there. And as we do that, I got to get some stuff going on here. So we're going to get our tablet, and we will get this going. And let's see, I can get rid of that. No, I don't want Prime, YouTube, whatever. There we go. Alrighty. It's all about how you use it, says NetVenom. Yeah. And they say every inch counts. So yes, every inch counts. Depends how far you push it in, right? Isn't that it? So we got a lot to push in here. I mean, imagine that. This would do some damage. And like I said, I've got big hands, and so you know what that means. Big hands, it means it's hard to find gloves. But yeah, you got to buy big gloves. So yeah, I wanted this to be a little bit more beefy, and yeah, that is definitely beefy. So looks like it was pretty good. You know, we did other coat on this. We did some gold on here, and I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to take more of this brown, and we're going to do it on this part down here. And then we'll do like a silver, like a bright silver, and then we'll do the bronze on this here, and maybe bronze on these little, I don't know, flower thingies that we got going on. We'll see how that goes. What else do we got going on? Let's see. I do have, remember how I was complaining how I didn't have my little things for, I printed these out. It's a little paint stirring, or, you know, we use this for the, what was it? Oh yeah, the texture. We didn't use this, but I wanted to use this, but I couldn't find the other one. And so I printed out a couple more. That's always the joy of 3D printing. And we finished up our base there, and then we put a coat of matte varnish, and so it sealed everything in, so we're good there. And then the next step on another video, what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll paint this black, and then we'll start going through and doing the volcanic base on that. But this video, boom, we're going to go through, and I've got some other stuff here. I've got a benchy, I've got an old 3D printed thing, dropping stuff all over. I've got some wood stuff here, even have a resin printed base. These things are going to be used, and some, I don't know, poster board. We're going to use that as test material for an ultrasonic cutter that I got that we're going to do a review on. That second coat looks great on the blade. How did the other prints turn out? The orc that I was going to do, unfortunately, didn't print out. And it was really odd because I did like 4 of them. And then I was like, what the hell's going on? The base printed out great, but the orc itself didn't. And like I said, it was 3 or 4 times. I think on the 4th time, I just like stopped it again. And I was like, you know what? This isn't good. And I found out that the file was corrupted. So I got to try to see if we can fix that. And we can get that printing, because I printed out another little thing to make sure that it wasn't the printer and it wasn't messing up. And then it printed out fine. Then I printed out these that had supports. So yeah, it was actually the model that had some problems. So I need to get on my Windows machine and repair that. But let's get into painting this. Is this going to be good enough? I think so. Do our little water deal here. And we're going to use brown, which is this burnt umber. And again, these are Arteco paints, which are really good. I like them. They're acrylic paints, and they seem to work out really well. Clean these up. Cleanliness is next to godliness, or so they say. But especially for larger prints, larger painting areas, you definitely don't want to use your Army Painter paints or Citadel paints, because that would just cost way too much money. So we'll just do 3 drops because we want a little thick thing going on. Hey, we got Ferrithus there. Dagger looks sweet. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. It is turning out quite well. So we're going to mix some of our Arteco paints in here. And really looking forward to getting all this painted up. And then we'll throw a matte color on there, matte varnish. And we will have our pig sticker all done. So yeah, it is turning out nice. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit. You want to hear about some headaches? I mean, everybody's got their own headaches, but I had a recent headache dealing with shipping stuff from China over here to Korea, and it's still not resolved, unfortunately. And then we have another issue with, which is done, a item I ordered in the United States, but they couldn't ship it to Korea from the company, so I had to ship it from the U.S. company to a U.S. shipping forwarding company that would ship it to Korea. And yeah, they wanted money. So if you find things that cannot be shipped, you can use a shipping company or forwarding. And you can do that. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool, because there's a few items. And the one item that I wanted that would not ship to Korea was the Infinity S1 automatic filament reloader. And so that way you could have like a roll of filament, and then when one roll finishes, it automatically loads the other roll. And you might be saying, well, that's kind of like what a CFS or an MMU or multi-material system does. And that's true. But I get larger spools of filament. So I get like 2.5 to 3 kilo rolls of filament to do these cosplay things. And I was like, we're having some issues, because I like the bigger rolls of filament. So that way I can do 2.5 kilos or, 3 kilos or whatever. And then I still didn't want to have to deal with, reloading or whatever. So I decided on the Infinity S1, which looks like a really great system. And again, it's just the CFS I've had a few problems with. And so I just wanted something that's more reliable, and it looked cool. So we're going to try that out. But shipping that, it was like $213, $214 for that and some parts. And then, what did it end up? Of course, there was some import tax that I had to pay, which wasn't too bad. But then for the shipping forwarding company, that added up an extra $100. So it was kind of like, ouch. Yeah, so that kind of painful. So unless you absolutely need it, I wouldn't recommend it. I think I screwed up here. I didn't want to paint that top part. So we'll just wipe that off. Bam. But I do want part of that top part painted. I just don't want all of it. So we just want to do around this. And this is just such an odd looking. Of course, this was AI generated, or partially AI generated, or whatever it was. But yeah, so that added the shipping company, forwarding company. So basically, they give you an address, a U.S. address. So whatever you order in the United States, you end up shipping that item that you bought from a store, and that goes to the shipping company, forwarding company, and they can either send it as packaged or repackage. I figured repackage just in case, because it is going overseas. And then, of course, they got to make money doing that. But it was an extra $100. So it was like, ouch. So, yeah, a little bit of extra expense there. But I'm not going to be doing that too often, because holy crow, it arrived in Korea, but it needs to get reviewed by customs and evaluated to see if you owe any import tax, that tax or fees or whatever. And of course, the reason that they do this is they want to try to, people are like shipping drugs and stuff. So it's got to go through that process. And people are abusing the mail system. I wasn't, but trying to get that situated, holy crow, that was a pain in the butt because you have to contact customs, and then customs is like, and the shipping company, and there's an app that you need to download, but the app is confusing and it's in Korean, and it's not really the best app in the world. And so there's a place where it said, well, you need to put in how much the amount was in US dollars. And so, we did that. But then it wouldn't accept the amount in the field, to put that money in there, how much it was. And so the wife had to call. So she's doing that. And of course, trying to get a hold of a live person is like nigh impossible, but we're able to do it. And then you only have 5 days. That's the message that we got is, it's like, hey, you got 5 days to get this squared away. It's like, oh, crap. It was like, so we're under kind of a time crunch there and trying to do the app and everything. It's just like, all the information. How much was the item? Yeah, I get that. And then each thing wanted like more information. And if you navigated away from away from the app to get the information, like the order number, how much the cost of the item, the website link to the item that you ordered, and so on and so forth, if you went outside the customs app and then came back, you'd have to start everything over again. So it was not user-friendly at all, and it was glitching, and it was just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it wasn't really happy with that. But the good thing was I didn't have to pay any VAT tax. We got next build. Hey, welcome to the show. It says, have you ever tried slap chop on larger props? No, I haven't. I have not. And I don't know what slap chop is. So if you could fill me in on that or remind me. I mean, I've done speed paints. And then there's times where I've just slapped paint on. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I know it's not, but I'm just not sure. So tell me what slap chop is, and I could look into that as well. And what you think about slap chop, if you like that. And the pros and the cons and the whoosies and the whatsies for all that. So, and we will check that out. And is it easier? That would be the question. Let me see if I can adjust this so I can read it. Next build says black base, gray dry brush, white dry brush on your outermost layer and hit it with speed paints. Would you mind me dropping a video to show you? Oh no, I've done exactly that. I didn't know it was called slap chop. I've done that on a number of models to where, like here's a little example. Make it black and then dry brush it. You can either do something like a dry brush like that. I've done it on larger models, kind of like with this guy here. It's kind of hard to tell because he's all shiny varnished. But getting that gradient scale, kind of like on this here. So we kind of got the shadows on here, and then that will provide that gradient. I put too much white on here, but you can see how it's kind of dark, and we get the shadows. And then when you put your speed paints, you get that gradient of that color of the speed paints. So yeah, I've done that on miniatures and models. As far as like big stuff, I have not. But that is interesting. but I'd have to thin these paints out so that they're kind of like speed paints. And to be able to get that, you know, to get that gradient of the zenithal. And because like this is pretty, you know, you can get a lot of coverage with this. But yeah, that'd be an interesting thing. But with the bigger cosplay items, I don't know. I haven't done that. That's an interesting little thing. Farith says, my shoulder back to normal. Remember you hurt your... Yeah, it's still a little tweaked. So I thought I was over it, and then I went back to the gym, and I started doing weighted dips again, and my shoulder reminded me, said, oh yeah, by the way, no, we're not healed up. So I just need to take a hiatus from doing heavy stuff. So I'll take it easy. I didn't go to the gym Monday because we had snow. It was a snow day. And then today, of course, is Tuesday, so I don't go to the gym. Wednesday, I'll go to the gym, but I'll just take it easy. And then Thursday, we've got another appointment. We got to run up to Seoul. The wife's got a procedure she needs to get done. Nothing serious, so thankfully it's just kind of one of those things she needs to get done. And then I have a colonoscopy on the 26th of this month, so that'll be fun. That sucks. I just got back home today, so gym starts again tomorrow. All right, cool. I just have a tendency of going hard and heavy, and that causes problems. So when I get injured, because that is kind of like my workout theme, is you go to the gym, go hard and heavy. So I'm going to have to adjust that a little bit and take it easy. And I also need to really kind of tone down the amount of weight that I do, because like what I was doing was I was doing weighted dips. I weighed 260 pounds, and then I threw on like multiple sets, and one of the sets was like an additional 25 pounds, an additional set with 35 pounds, and then ultimately 70, and then some more. So it was like over 305 pounds or something like that, and then that's when I tweaked my shoulder doing dips. I think I did like 10 of them or something, and it was like, hey, oops, yeah, don't do that. So I'm just getting old. I just need to, I can still do weighted dips. I just can't throw on a 45 and a 25 and a 35 and do like what I used to do. So I just need to chill with that. But it is what it is. But other than that, pretty good. I mean, it would give me an excuse to relax and do more on legs, because my legs need catching up, honestly. But with the back injuries I have, it's kind of like, I use that as an excuse to not work my legs as much as I should. So, but yeah, we're working on it. We are working on it. Going too fast. So I get for going too fast, too hard and heavy. So we're kind of enjoying it regardless. I just need to chill a little bit. And it's funny because I work out at a military base, U.S. military base gym, and yeah, don't stick your finger in the paint. What are the odds? And I'm probably one of the very few guys that lifts a lot of weight. But then again, you know, it's not like I have different goals than people in the military, so, and I'm retired. So I go work out, and then I go home, I rest, take a nap. You know, military guys and gals, they've got things to do, so, and they have different goals that they work towards, so I don't hold that against them. I was in the same boat when I was in the military. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting, matter of fact, that S3 or the S1 from Infinity, that automatic filament loader, that is supposed to be here today. So waiting patiently for that. We'll see how that goes. And then I ordered the pegboard. So I scraped up some nickels and dimes and saved up my allowance. So that should be coming in this month, towards the end of the month. I think around the 26th, I think it is. And so that way I'll have more storage and it'll look nicer. And I can take my paints and everything and we can put them on the wall and we'll have some more real estate. It'll look pretty. So maybe I could be like one of those fancy YouTubers. Be like how some of those people have like some seriously nice setups. Maybe I can be one of those. It's just kind of crazy. But yeah, I just want to have a nice looking, dang it, I did it again. Paint that part. Do I want to paint that? Yeah, I want to paint that. Yeah, okay. I got lost in the sauce there for a bit. I was like, what am I doing? But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I definitely want to have a nice looking, nice little paint place. And then once it's done, that'll be done. I like this brown. Reminds me of like a chocolate covered brown. But then when it dries, it looks really sharp. see, what else are we looking forward to? Our upcoming trip to Philippines. And we are going to Hawaii. It's going to be May time frame. So we're going to spend a couple weeks in Hawaii. So that'll go back to our old stomping grounds. We lived there for a year, thanks to our daughter. So we'll be doing that. So Philippines first, and Hawaii. And then we're also going to be buying an apartment. At least that's the plan, so keep the fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get a good deal as a rental property. So we'll have that coming up. So 2026 is going to be a busy year. And yeah, it will be quite the year. And it is the year of the horse, which is my birth year, by the way. And it's not just a normal year of the horse, it's kind of the year of the great horse. So it's like a Chinese zodiac animal type thing. This year of the horse is supposed to be something really, really above and beyond. So maybe that's because I'm doing stuff like this. This is above and beyond. Let's see. Ferrithus says, colonoscopy fun. Had mine a few years. Found that I had a polyp propofol resistance. They had a hard time knocking me out. Yeah, I'm out. But the interesting thing is the doctor who's doing the procedure, he said that they don't do the same anesthesia that they do in the United States. So they don't put you under. And with that, he said, yeah, sometimes, damn it, I just did that again. Not paying attention. Focus, Wilson, focus. Geez, seriously. So anyway, he said during the procedure, he goes, some people wake up. I don't know if I'd want to wake up and have something deep in my tush. No, I did. That was right. I did want to do that. Okay. Do I? Yeah, I do. Okay. I did want to do that. I just needed to make a line like that. Okay. Focus, focus, Wilson, focus. So he said, there are times when people wake up. I said, well, hopefully not. I mean, I don't really want to wake up and find a garden hose with a GoPro up my butt. That's probably not a good thing to wake up to. So, because that's basically what it is. It's like a long hose with a camera on the end. And it's like to check out your insides. Yeah. But the good thing is with that, if they find anything like polyps or whatever, stuff like that, they can cut those things out and you're good to go and, you know, come back in another 5 years or whatever it is that they say. So, yeah. Oh, and the funny thing is they said, yeah, if when you get this, you need to have somebody with you. And it's, you know, because I guess somebody needs to go with you. So, you know, when you leave, you're under the supervision of somebody. And it was like, well, I'm not driving, I'm taking the train. They're like, nope, you still need to have somebody. And our hopes was that the wife and I would get our procedures done on the same day, and then we just take a taxi and a train, and then we're home. Or bus, train, taxi, and we go back home. But they're like, nope, can't do that. You have to have an unaffected adult going. And I was like, oh, okay. So the wife's going to supervise me, and then I got to supervise the wife. So this Thursday, I get to supervise the wife in whatever procedure she's getting, because the same thing with her. And it was like, sure, yeah, okay, whatever. So we got to do 2 trips. And so the wife's procedure is Thursday, and then mine's on the 26th. And then we got to go back for the results. So that's going to be another appointment. So, and the results take maybe a week, I think is what he said. So, be a few trips up to Seoul. George says, as a joke, they all dress like little green aliens, just in case people do wake up and mess with them. That would be funny. I was thinking about talking about jokes. I was like, hey, I told my wife, I said, hey, why don't we get a Sharpie and on each cheek, right on each cheek says, be gentle. And I thought that would be a good joke. Maybe it would be a good joke in the United States, but my wife is like, no, you cannot do that here in Korea. I will not write that on your butt. I'm like, so, yeah, it's almost. I thought that'd be hilarious. You know, the people that do the colonoscopy, they roll you over and there's a little sign on your butt that says "Be gentle." I think that'd be hilarious. But yeah, the wife is like, no, you will not do that. So I guess I know in the United States, they would love that. That would be hilarious. That would make their day. Here in Korea, probably not so much. I mean, they would probably talk about it, but yeah, that would bring shame upon my wife and my family, and I guess I can't do that, so. George says, the ring's for a bullseye. I know. Be like, here, have an arrow pointing to my butt, to the opening. That would be funny. Yeah, put the rings on there with the scoring. That would be a good one. That would be good. That would be good. But yeah, that would no, I can't do that. Wife said no. So I was like, okay, I don't want to do it. So, yeah, opportunity loss. I thought that would be hilarious. I was all ready to check that out. So, I mean, it's not something anybody wants to do, but if you got to do it, have fun, right? Gotta have fun. So, yeah, the wife taking all the fun out of it. Dang it. George says, Net Venice says exit only. Warning, thermal exhaust port. Right? Or I could put a little sign that says only you. That would be funny. I don't know. I think that'd be hilarious. But then again, I have a sick, twisted humor. But after military and law enforcement and working in prisons and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, yeah, you kind of get that way. I think that's going to turn out pretty good. I do think this will look good. Let me do that side. Are they at least providing dinner and a movie? Right? No, they're not. It's just wham, bam, boom. That's going to be it. So no reach around, just straight to it. So that'll be an interesting thing. Another exciting journey here in Korea. But when you get older, man, the more concerned you are about medicine and taking care of yourself, or it should be anyway, I would think. But yeah, it's kind of the thing that happens. You get older and you got to do all these things, and body starts breaking down. But we were at the food court. We're on the military base, and they have like a food court with like fast food restaurants, and we were eating. We had to pick some stuff up, and then every once in a while. But I had this guy show up, and he says, "Hey, excuse me." He says, "I need to ask you, how old are you?" I told him, "Well, I'm going to be 60 this year." And he goes, "Damn." And he was an older guy. He was still working, but I think he was my age. I'm retired, but he was obviously a contractor. And he goes, "Man," he says, I told him I was retired, like retired. And he goes, "Man," he said, he goes, "You are killing it." He says, "Well, he goes, when I retire, I want to be in good shape too." And he says, you're encouraging me to get back in the gym." And I was like, "Oh." I said, "Well, kid, just do it. Start off slow and, take some time and make yourself a priority." And he says, "Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being he goes, "You're going to be my role model. You're my hero." And I'm like, "Stop it." But yeah, that was kind of cool. Kind of cool to see that. I guess I could do the brown on this too and bring that all the way around. I guess we'll go ahead and I'll do that. Change it a tiny little bit more. But yeah, every once in a while I get people that'll stop by and stop me and say, "Hey," ask me how old I am or whatever, and which is kind of cool. Or the few people that stop me and go, "Hey, you're that guy on YouTube." I get that sometimes too. It's like, "Oh, so you're the one of the 3 guys that watches." So and then there's been a number of people who were like, "Yeah, I've watched your videos and that made me want to come to Korea and do the same thing we did, was retire and live overseas." And their wife is Korean, and so they're able to get the same visas we have and retire, and they love it. So I meet people like that, so that's kind of cool. And everybody's got to make up their own mind about retirement, but when we came here, I looked online and I couldn't find anybody that had done what we did or wanted to do. So there's been a number of couples who either the husband saw the videos and they're like, holy crap, you can actually do that, you know, or the wife has seen videos, my videos or whatever, and showed it to her husband and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I mean, at least for people to make an informed decision. You know what I mean? And they can weigh the pros and cons and see if they want to do it or not. I mean, everybody's a grown adult, so they make an informed decision. And yeah, some people decided to give it a shot, and it paid off for them. So, and I'm sure there's probably going to be somebody who shows up here to Korea and will do what we did and then realize that's not what they want. But, and it's kind of like what I tell people. It's like, you know, give it a shot and try, you know. And if you end up coming to Korea or some other overseas location and then you find out it's not for you, you should visit a number of times before you go anywhere. But even if it doesn't work out, you had a great journey. You have something to talk about, because nobody does that stuff. I think it's working out pretty good. It is nice. I think we'll do like, we've got the silver on there, so we're going to do bronze on this here. And we'll do the bronze there. I think that'll look pretty good. And then we'll do the gold on these little flower things. And then maybe the bronze on those little points there. And we'll put gold on these areas, on these little rivets. That'll kind of make that pop as well. The bottom I think we could do in brass as well. That brass color would look really nice. So yeah, that'll be cool. Cool. I dig this brown color, this burnt umber. It's really nice. I think it'll turn out well. And then we got to go back and do some touch-ups on some of this stuff. But I think this will turn out great. I'm just using up the brown that we have. But some of the layer lines on this actually makes it look like kind of a wood, like wood grain on here. So I'm kind of digging that. What's that noise? I hear like a ding. Is that my phone? What is that noise? No, it's not my phone. Is it my computer? No? Huh. What is that? Oh, okay. It was the TV show my wife was watching. It had some kind of weird sound. Oh, so with that, yeah, the upcoming colonoscopy is going to be interesting because we're going to be cleansing out the morning of 3 days prior to the colonoscopy. I have to reduce, and I can't eat certain foods because they want you to be cleaned out. And then the morning of the day that I get the colonoscopy, I have to take the cleansing medicine, and that'll clean out the remnants of whatever else. So I'll be all nice and cleaned out. Gotta love that. So we could go on with the, what other colors do I got? Got a pearl white. But to get the skeleton bone on there, I'll leave that one for last. But to do that, that'll be interesting. But the bronze, do I really want to do the bronze on that back end there? On this? I was talking about doing black on that. That's what I was talking about doing. But that black is what we did for the blade. And then this is like black, lamp black. Go get the gallon to drink or the small bottles. I got 2 protein. I've got like a pill medicine, or no, 2 powdered medicines that I got to take with 500 milligrams of water. And I take 2 of those, one in 1 hour, one in another hour. And then there's something else that I take, and then 500 milliliters of water. And then I got to do it again. So I got like 4 applications or times that I got to do that. And that should cleanse me out pretty good. I think I want to do the black on this. And then we can do the bronze on this. So we'll do the black on this part here. I think that'll work good. So that'll be a fun time. Oh joy. Much fun for all. And then do the procedure. When I got it done in the United States, of course, they said the same thing. You get the procedure, they put me under. And you're not supposed to drive. And the wife was supposed to drive. So the wife, we drove there in my truck. So I have to wait at the front. The wife brings the truck. She drives off. And it was like 5 minutes later, I'm like, pull over, I'm driving. It's like, I feel fine. Anesthesia doesn't really cause me to go crazy or anything. So I was like, yeah, I feel totally fine now. So that might be a bit too black. We'll put in a little bit of this, that black pearl. I'll mix that in there as well. So I want to get it dark, but I don't want it like black. You know, that black is going to be kind of black. Maybe a tiny bit of silver, because that's going to be bright. So we'll lighten up that black just a little bit. And we'll get some of that metallic pigment in there too. mean, it's a subtle change, that's for sure, but yeah, I think it'll work. The worst part is all the prep. The test itself is easy, even with the mid-process wake-up. Yeah, that'll be quite the interesting thing. Speaking of drink, time for a swig. Like to stay hydrated. And here we go. So, let's see. Fairtha says, because I needed so much extra propofol to knock me out, I woke up extremely dizzy. Yeah, usually I don't have a problem waking up. I'm pretty cognizant when that happens. So it's not a big deal for me anyway, but yeah, it doesn't, I guess it takes me a little bit to wake up, but once I'm up, I'm up. And it's like, oh, I'm good to go. But since they don't have an anesthesiologist, that's going to be the interesting thing. And so I'm going to be out, but I'm not going to be anesthesia out. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting little different type of situation. That black is black. The stuff takes a while to clear the head. Yeah. Yep, sometimes it does. And after it's done, we'll have to get on a bus and get on a train. We already have our train tickets booked, so we're good there. And the good thing is, well, the reason we have to have so much time between my wife's procedure and mine is that you got the Lunar New Year's is popping up here. So we kind of got that going on. And for those of you who don't know, everybody in Korea goes home during the New Year's holidays. So it is like massively booked. And it's hard to get tickets, and it's just like, yeah. So instead of trying to deal with that, we figured we'll just postpone mine until later in the month. So, yeah. So yeah, fun stuff. Fun, fun, fun. Let's see what else we got going on. Some of you know my daughter's in the military. She's a doctor. And she's getting ready to go to a command course. So when she'll be gone for a few weeks for that, like 6 weeks or whatever. So she'll be in the States for command course. And then that'll allow her to get some bonus points and be able to get promoted. That'll help with her promotion. She's currently a captain. And so that'll help her get to major. And then I think she's just gonna do her time in the military and get out. And then she had a requirement to do 8 years because the military paid for her medical school. She had to give them 8 years, and so she'll do that, and then she's going to get out and just do civilian doctor thing, or she's looking into maybe government service doctor at military hospitals, and federal benefits are better in government service than they are in the Army. So, and she doesn't have to do stupid Army things. She would just have to do stupid government things. So, there's that. So she's going to be busy for 6 weeks. And then we're going to be busy. End of February, beginning of March, we'll be in the Philippines for a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to doing the Philippines and checking that out, getting to the beach. In Boracay and Cebu and stuff like that. Okay, I think that'll work. I think that black will work. And then, is there anything else? I think we're good on the black. Maybe we can do a little bit of a line. Go back over that because I went a little wide, but yeah, it'll work. No big deal, no big deal. Average person's probably not going to see it anyway. They'll just see the monster knife as it is and be like, oh, that's so cool. That's another thing I've noticed. With painting, seems to be overly critical. You seem to be overly critical in the things that you do, but the average person doesn't see it or see those things, so they're like, oh, that looks awesome. But then you're like, oh no, if you look up close, yeah, the paint went over the line here, here, and here. The average person is not going to see that at all. So, and especially if you have like a figure, let's say you've got this guy here, and is that coming out? You know, you got this guy here, and 2 feet away, he's going to be sitting on a table. It's going to look awesome. Even if you bring it up close, you're going to be like, oh wow, that still looks cool. But you're going to find those little imperfections and everything, and you're just, I know that bugs some people, and that kind of scares some people, I think. But the whole idea is to just have fun and do it. You got to start somewhere. So yeah, that's what it comes down to. Just have fun and do it. Let's see how much paint I can get on my hands all over. Let's stuff. Ferrith says it's like that with every hobby. I take photos with a mirrorless camera. Most people will say looks just like my iPhone. Heck, you've seen those people like make awesome miniatures, like incredible, and they use mirrorless cameras, but then their skills are like on a whole nother level. It's just insane on what they can end up doing. But something to be said with having a good camera, So, should we dip into the Bronze Age? We could do bronze on this, on these edges here, and then do silver. I think we'll do bronze on this here, and then on there. I don't know, I'm debating. The bronze would look good. I think it'd really tie it in. And highlight the skull, which we'll do. Then we'll frame that out really good. And the bronze and the brown go well. Yeah, let's do bronze. What the heck? We'll give it a shot. Just do a couple drops of water. Nothing crazy. Like that bronze color. More like a copper. Let's get a little swig. Ah, yes. Let's just go ahead and we'll get these edges first. Ferrith says, yeah, those images definitely do not look the same like the iPhone. People Don't pay 4K for a camera setup to look like an iPhone. That's true. That is true. You can, I don't know, maybe the average person can't see, but there's a huge difference between a mirrorless camera and an iPhone, that's for sure. Without a doubt. But yeah. I guess you got to get some skills with painting, and then your skills are really good, and you can really highlight that with a good mirrorless camera. So, but a mirrorless camera is not going to make up for your lack of painting skills. It'll just make it clear that you don't have painting skills in high def. So. But yeah, oh well. Oops. Gotta be careful. So Ferrithus, what's your channel going to be on? I'm assuming it's going to be like hobby stuff, painting, miniatures, all that other stuff you end up doing. And when you do, you definitely got to let us know so that way we can like and subscribe your channel. So don't forget. And if anybody else is on here and you're starting out, or you have a YouTube channel and you've been at it for a while, or you're just beginning, let me know and we'll check it out. And if you're new, we'll put it out on the channel and try to get everybody else to like and subscribe, kind of help you all out. I know I need all the help I can get, so might as well help some other people along the way. Just gotta get it in the crack. Gotta fill those cracks. Ferris says, my channels are essentially my Creality account for my various designs and my Instagram for my photography and astrophotography stuff. Never really thought about streaming. Yeah. But yeah, send me an email on whatever channels you have, and then that way we can, I'll promote them anyway, you know, put them on so people can check them out, and I'm sure the handful of subscribers I have might might enjoy it. But I've had people that just started doing a channel, and they're like, hey, I started a channel and I do this, or this, and it's not something that I'm interested in. But they seen my videos and they were like, hey, if you could do it. I'm like, are you saying that because somebody as slow as me can do a channel, that mean, you know, that gave you encouragement that, well, if he can do it, I can do it. But no, it just it was interesting because it was kind of funny because I had a number of people, they're like, yeah, I started my own YouTube channel, I'm doing this, and it's like, yeah, I'm not interested in that at all, to be honest, but I will like and subscribe to help you out. So I am more than happy to do that. Ferrithus he's smart, so I will gladly like and subscribe and check out your channels. So you gotta let us know, or let me know, and then I'll let everybody else know. So yeah, do that, please. I also get some wackadoos every once in a while. Not really on YouTube, but I kind of check out some other social media stuff. And I don't know, I got TikTok, but I don't really do much on there. But most of the crazy people are on TikTok that I've found. They're like, oh, trying to sell something, day trading, or, oh, you can make this amount of money or whatever, or they're like, oh, I can get you steroids and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't think I want to do that. Mailing steroids through the mail and advertise. How do people even are able to do that on Instagram? I don't know how that is even legal. Obviously, it's not legal. People selling prescription drugs using TikTok or whatever to sell their stuff. I don't know how they're still allowed to do that. It just amazes me on how people are allowed to do that. Just amazes me. Alrighty, we're making some progress. What else did we do? Oh, we went to the Korean open air market today. So local vendors and farmers and stuff sell their produce and all that stuff. So we needed to get a few things. So 30 degrees, we're out there shopping for vegetables and stuff. This is going to turn out pretty good. In that little spring is coming. I was kind of surprised. We got Lunar New Year popping up, and then first day of spring is right around the corner here. So, yeah. Time goes by fast. How's that look? Not bad. And then we could do, I don't know if we want to do bronze around here. I think so. I think we do bronze around the rest of that. That'll frame it out, look pretty good. And then the bronze down here, I think that'll look nice. I think it will. So many edges. Let's see what else. Sent you an email yesterday. Was more of a check-in because I was MIA for a while. Attached a few of the photos I took in New Orleans. I will check those out. Glad you got back safe. And then I also just got an email. I think I got it yesterday, but the other day when I did that stream, and the guy was talking about the Hue Forge, and he was showing some stuff that he had done. He sent a picture of like a stormtrooper doing the Hue Forge thing. That looks pretty impressive. It was really nice. Very tempting indeed. It's like so many different hobbies. It's like not enough time. But it looks really good. Here I am touching the paint again. Wilson, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, hey, why does it feel wet? Touching the wet spot. Stop that. We can grime this up a little bit too. that'll look good. We're just going to slap this stuff on here. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Good, good. I like, me like. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. What am I doing? Okay. It's like for a second there, I'm like, huh? Other than that, that's what we got going on. Nothing real exciting. Unless you save the exciting stuff for later, like colonoscopy later in this month. I still got to figure out how to get money from my YouTube account, AdSense, sent to me. And because apparently the address that I have, I can't put the entire address, so they can't send it to my Korean address. And then trying to do a bank transfer, I guess the BIC or international bank transfer number I have for the credit union that I use isn't working or isn't recognized. So I gotta spend some time and figure out how to do that, because I got a few nickels in there, and I want to try to get that and get those funds so I can add that towards my allowance and get that Core 1L. So there's always something. There's always something going on. Always something. We're running out of paint here, so I think and I'm hungry, so I think we're at a good stopping place here. Yeah, so there we go. I think it's coming out pretty good, as you can see there. I think that frames that out nicely. Let's see what we got there. I'm going to have to redo the black. I knew that was going to happen. So I'll probably save that for last. So we'll when we come back, we'll do more bronze. We'll finish up this side. We'll do the other side. We'll do the bronze on here. And then those in gold, and then like a bronze little cap on there. And yeah, we can do a little bit of distress work on it, and we should be good to go. And then we'll repaint the black in the areas. We'll probably do a little bit more on the sword or the dagger edge with the black pearl that we have from Art Deco. And I think that is it. I think that's going to be it. Oh, and then the skull, of course. We'll do that. We'll probably pull out like some skeleton bone from Army Painter and do the skull, and then we'll do some wash on that, some dark wash to really bring out some depth and make it look old and skull-ish, more skullish. Might even do some black on the insides of the eyes to eye sockets to get that looking good. And then we'll just go ahead and let that dry. And tax came out really nice. Yes, they are. Enjoy your day. I'm headed to bed. Just finished this year's tax returns. I need to do taxes as well. Imagine that. What are the odds? I was just thinking about that. It was like getting to that time of doing taxes. So, yeah, dagger's looking pretty good. I think it is doing well. We'll get back here, and we're back. So we did a little bit of painting on that. Ended up with some good stuff. Got some good. Take a look at that there. Yeah, nice. Can we zoom in a little bit? I think we can, like so. Boom. We got our dagger. So yeah, it's looking good. Dagger is looking good. I like the bronze. It's really clean. That bronze is really clean. So we will definitely take a look at that. I'll have to distress that, bringing that down a little bit. We're doing some distressing. We'll probably get, I do have dirty down rust. So we could probably do a little bit of rust on there. And then, of course, then it is a dagger. It is needs to be battle worn. So there's that. So we'll do some streaking on there. And then maybe kind of rub a little bit of slaughter red in there for some blood. Get some blood effects on there. I'm not sure. I'm looking really, this is more of a red. This is interesting. I'm looking at the video and let me see if I can pull this up, because it's really a red color, and it's got more of an orange. So saturation, yeah, not that. Kind of like that. Contrast. I don't know. I think it looks good. Whatever it is. But yeah, this is a little bit more red than what I'm seeing on the video, so I'm not walking around like a pumpkin. No fear of that. So anyway, yeah, that's what we got going on. Mr. Ferrithis, enjoy your bed, sweet dreams, and all that good stuff. Dream of lasering and photography and painting and printing, all of that good stuff. Everybody else that's watching, thank you very much. I would appreciate if you could hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. I know that would be a good thing for me to appease the YouTube gods. And then, yeah, we can continue on with the journey of being retired in Korea, doing hobby stuff, cosplay. Again, eventually on my bucket list is a big cosplay suit. We're looking at the Doom Eternal Slayer armor. So we're looking at doing that. Waiting on Galactic Armory to get their form fitter software that is supposed to be coming out this year. They're going to do a Kickstarter on that, so stay tuned for that. Some people are like, yeah, but you can do that Windows program. I forget what it's called now. Whatever, the Armor Builder or whatever it is. But I don't think that's being supported anymore, and it's not being upgraded. And the folks at Galactic Armory, they're really putting a lot of money into it. So I'm probably going to jump onto that because it'll also have Mac support. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what we got going on. So, again, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video. If you want to contact me and show me what you're printing or painting or doing or other hobbies that you're involved in or information, or you just want to say hi, you can email me at the following email address. We've got, which is right there, official thevariedlife@gmail.com. Hey, we got Ednoy. Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon here in Korea. Good to see you. Glad you're aboard. I almost missed you because we're closing down this stream. Yeah, doing well, doing good. Hope you're the same. Just finishing up. We're doing a little bit on the knife there. Ned Venom says, has a great day, you all. Appreciate that, everybody. And again, kind of one parting shot of our little dagger that we got there. Yeah, it is doing good. It is doing quite well. It has turned out good. If you really want to do something, these people over here bought me coffee, link description box. But again, the very best thing that you could do is like and subscribe to the channel. I don't really care about the coffee. I make my own coffee. But just know that anything that comes in is going towards material things for this channel. So, like lights, camera, things, material things that will last. It won't go towards consumables. So that way, I don't know, that's just kind of a thing of mine. But the majority of the money comes from my allowance. So any little bit helps through the YouTube money or partners. Click on the advertisements if you really want to help out. I would appreciate that. If you've got questions about being retired overseas and how I'm an American expat, wife and I retired over here. We sold everything in the United States. Email me. You can hit me up, or you can check out some of my other videos, which have videos on our journey on how we did that. So yeah, it's been over 3 years since we've been here. And it's been good for us. Yeah. Allows me to do what I'm doing now. So good stuff. With that, we'll go ahead and bid you adieu. Thank you, everybody, for watching the stream. And be sure, like, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell, ding. And we will see you on the next video. And have fun. That's what it's all about. All right, we'll see you. Peace. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good progress.